want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Thank for their disease. Just like a weed.
Holy shit. Once again, the weather over here in New Jersey has decided to take a turn for the worst. And Mother Nature says, fuck you, I'm going to make it less than 60 degrees and it's going to rain. So I guess fuck Mother Nature in that regard. But it's nice and dry in here. We are getting ready to get down and dirty as we usually do, and that can only mean that it's Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth, streaming live across 4 different platforms, across 6 different accounts, and you're damn right, I am on fire, baby. We have a lot to get into, and we are going to get into it momentarily. But of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. No. Shit. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is right there? That right there is the smell of pure fucking excellencience. Yeah, and yes, that is a word because I just said it's a word. If I say it, it goes. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. Yeah. Pardon me, LA Knight, but let me talk to you. This is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, May 20th, 2023. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how we are legitimately nearly halfway over with the year. I'm still trying to comprehend that. It's absolutely ridiculous. I see we got Earl Cole, we got the Final Hoss, and we got Hula Grim. Finally woke up on time, Hula Grim. They all decided to pop on in. I'm sure we'll see a little bit more people in here as the stream goes on. We also got Sarah Hapka. How you doing? How you doing? Great to see you back in here. We have a lot of material to go over. Trust me on that. A lot of material to go over, including a status update on when Randy Orton could potentially be back, or if he could even be back at all. On top of that, Liv Morgan, it is not a kayfabe injury. Liv Morgan is legit injured. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over WWE potentially adding a new member of Imperium. We're going to go over Seth Rollins potentially not winning the World Heavyweight title. We're going to go over CM Punk and what's going on with him in AEW Collision. We're going to go over Bray Wyatt and the fact that he could very well be off of the internal WWE roster, and he could very well be out of the company before we even know it. And then on top of that, we're going to go over Raw, we're going to go over Dynamite, we're going to go over SmackDown, and we're going to go over Rampage. Lots of material to get into, and I greatly appreciate everyone stopping in the chat and deciding to spend their Saturday afternoons with me. Or if you're a little bit more on the West Coast, you're spending your Saturday mornings with me. I mean, at any point in the day that you watch DJ Storms, it's always going to make your day better, no matter what. But I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You guys are fantastic. As of course, be sure that you guys remember to follow me on social media at History Maker DJS. That is at History Maker DJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Please make sure that you add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Pasta group on Facebook. All those links are in the description down below. Please make sure, if you have not already done so, set your notifications for what is to come in the next couple of weeks. We have a lot, and I mean a lot of streams. Of course, on Tuesday, coming up this Tuesday, May 23rd, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going live with Jay Leto for the rundown for NXT Battleground and Night of Champions. We will be dissecting, previewing, and predicting both of those shows and what could potentially come out of these two pay-per-views on WWE's end for Memorial Day weekend. And then next Thursday, May 25th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very first time ever, I will be having Wrestling with Savage on the show. Wrestling with Savage, he is a man that I've been getting antiquated and affiliated with at the ISPW events. He is very good at what he does as well. He had a very nice setup over at 80s WrestleCon. He was partying with Marty Jannetty. So shout out to Mr. Wrestling with Savage. He will be on my channel for the rundown for Double or Nothing 2023. That is next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. On top of that, and by the way, we got Toto with Tom in the chat. Shout out to Toto with Tom. I haven't seen him in the chat yet. I think this is the first time that Toto with Tom is in the chat. Yes, Savage is coming. Savage is fucking awesome. And him and I are going to be doing the rundown for Double or Nothing. That is next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Next Saturday is going to be a little bit of a tricky one because they got Crown Jewel at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if they got Crown Jewel at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm thinking about doing a morning LFU. Now, I realize that may be a little bit more difficult for Hooligrim because he's got to get his ass up at 7:30. But regardless, I'm thinking about doing a morning LFU just so that way I can knock that out. I could do something for that day because we got Crown Jewel happening at 1 p.m. Normally, I would think about doing an LFU after Night of Champions. Did I say Crown Jewel? I meant to say Night of Champions. My apologies. Crown Jewel has become so associated with what goes on in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, exactly. Final Hoss. Crown Jewel at the fucking Silver Dome. There you go. I had a Hulk Hogan moment right there. Night of Champions. Night of Champions next Saturday at 1 p.m. Going to be a little difficult, but I think that we are going to do a morning LFU, and then I'm going to watch Night of Champions. I will not be doing an afternoon stream because at 6 p.m. next Saturday in Woodland Park, I am going to be at Garrett Mountain Mania. Garrett Mountain Mania for ISPW. It is a big show. They just recently signed the main event. It is a rematch from 80s WrestleCon. between Rick Recon and Bull James, with Tito Santana as the special guest referee. I am pulling for Rick Recon. I really hope he wins that world championship. I was not too happy when he lost at 80s WrestleCon, but we will see what happens there. I will be at Garrett Mountain Mania next Saturday at 6 p.m. It's going to be great, but I'm thinking about doing a morning LFU before we watch Night of Champions. And then next Saturday, of course, is the Rewind for Night of Champions. I think I may fly solo for that show. We will see, but I think I may fly solo for that show. And then, of course, we got the Rewind for Double or Nothing on Memorial Day Monday. That is May 29th. And I will be having Robert of the Philly Sports Talk podcast. He is great. Robert of the Philly Sports Talk podcast. I've had him on the channel before. We did the rundown for Elimination Chamber with Tyler as well. So shout out to the both of them. He's going to be on the Rewind for Double or Nothing at 2 p.m. on May 29th. And then on June 1st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Mitch Kovsky's coming back to my channel, and we are going to do the Rewind for NXT Battleground. And then the day after that, I will be in Butler, New Jersey on June 2nd for yet another ISPW event, and it's going to be a good one. Hornswoggle's going to be there. We got GKM versus Sean Donovan for the Tri-State Championship. Should be a fun show. Should be a very, very fun show, to say the least. We got plenty of material going down. I will be having vlogs up. I will be having streams up. We're going to have a fun time. Thank you all for stopping on by. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you like the stream. Hooligrim, I mean, I don't know. You've been MIA for the last couple of weeks. I don't know. Should I get Hooligrim back on the channel? If Hooligrim's all right, maybe Hooligrim can come on the channel for the Rewind for Night of Champions. Well, what do you say there? How about that? Rewind for Night of Champions on Sunday, May 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time before Double or Nothing. Does that satisfy you, Hooligrim? You greedy fuck. Unbelievable, this fucking guy. It's lucky I made him a moderator. Do I have him as a moderator? I think I do. I'd like to believe that I do. Where is he? Go to the fucking live chat. Yes, he is a moderator. There you go. Yes, he is. Anyway. Got a little sidetracked there. But Hooligrim, I genuinely hope that everything gets sorted out over there. I really don't understand why people go out of their way and steal other people's cars. It's quite pathetic. It really is quite pathetic, and it just goes to show you how much scum really inhabits the earth. So I hope that everything works out, and I hope that everything gets straightened out over there, Hooligrim. Shout out to Lisa as well. Lisa is great. Very, very happy to see Lisa in the chat as well. If you guys don't already know what to do when you come on into the stream, no matter where you're watching it from, you better come on in and like the stream. Because it is vital that you do so. Come on in and like the stream. And, of course, share it out on all platforms, social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, any social media platforms that you may be using. Share it out. Because we want to get as many people in this chat as humanly possible, because we are set and ready to have a damn good time. Of course, if you're watching, whether it be on my YouTube channel or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, please make sure that you subscribe to the Hardcore Sports channel. We are this close. We are only six subs away, I believe. 6 subs away from 600 subs. We are 6 to 600. Really, really, really looking forward to seeing what we can do in the coming months and what kind of content we can produce over the summer as well. Please make sure that you subscribe to my channel or the Hardcore Sports channel. And when you do, you got to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Do you know why? Because it's the only time that you will get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Yo, is Earl still in the chat? Because if Earl's still in the chat, he's going to see his favorite part. Look at this shit right here, this beautifully crafted, magical ace black comb, and we're gonna light it up here on the stream, on the greatest fucking show on earth, with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like ham and Gouda cheese quiche. Yeah, ham and Gouda cheese quiche Lorraine right out of the oven. I don't know, maybe I'll take a trip to France one of these days and get some quality quiche. I am just so I am the tastiest fucking snack in the IWC. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill. Let me fix this. Let me touch up this beautifully crafted pompadour right here. Look at that shit. Hair as black as my heart, people. Let me take a drink. Now then, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We're going to get straight into the news, rumors, and reports here. We're going to start off with a report from WrestlingNews.co. We have a private Twitter account that's been breaking out a lot of stories as of lately. I don't know where the fuck this guy came from. This is the first time I'm hearing about this motherfucker. Boozer Wrestling is reporting that there are plans to place LA Knight and Rick Boogs in a tag team. The partnership is said to only be temporary. If you guys watched SmackDown last night, you will have seen that they indeed paired up Boogs and LA Knight, at least for one match, against the Street Profits, which they lost. Now, I'm not sure what's going to go on over there. I'm not sure if this is going to now result in a match between the two. I'm not sure if this is going to result in Boogs trying to gain the approval of LA Knight or LA Knight trying to make this shit work. I don't know if LA Knight is going to go on a search to find the correct partner so that way he could finally start getting some wins. I don't know, but if I am looking at this, I am absolutely fucking pissed if this is going to be the plan going forward. LA Knight should not be straddled in any fucking tag team. At least not yet. There should be no word whatsoever of putting LA Knight in a tag team until he has a successful singles run on the main roster. And if anything, he would have been the perfect candidate to win Money in the Bank. But now it doesn't look like that's the case. If anything, I want to have Cody Rhodes win Money in the Bank, cash in on Roman at SummerSlam, so we can get that fucking title off of Roman Reigns at this rate. Unless they have AJ Styles win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship instead of Seth Rollins, and AJ Styles gets traded to Raw, while Cody gets traded to SmackDown. I'm not sure if they're going to do that. But we are going to have to wait and see. But as far as LA Knight goes, I mean, you'd really, really have to be a fucking idiot if you're saying that the best that they could do with LA Knight is putting him in a tag team with Rick Boogs. Now, granted, it could be an entertaining tag team. Polar opposites, but we've had that shit already numerous times in WWE. How many times have we seen these makeshift polar opposite tag teams in WWE? We've seen it with Rock and Sock Connection, with Team Hell No. We've seen it with Braun Strowman and Ricochet. We've seen this shit time and time again. It's tiresome. It really is tiresome. How about you actually focus on building real tag teams? You got fucking Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa competing for the tag team titles at Night of Champions. Now, granted, that has some story going into it. Granted, that actually has an underlying story going into it, and we could see that play out very, very nicely as Roman is continuing to destroy his own bloodline, which I'm very much intrigued in. But outside of that, I mean, it's pathetic. It honestly is pathetic. Why is LA Knight in a tag team? Why is LA Knight even being talked about in plans and creative to be placed in a tag team, let alone with Rick Boogs, with anyone? Rick Boogs should be built up as a singles competitor to potentially face off against an Austin Theory. Austin Theory, as the United States champion, he's doing some great work right now. He's going to be fighting Sheamus next week Don't know why they didn't put that match at Night of Champions, but that's just me. Matter of fact, you put Austin Theory and Sheamus on the show, it actually would have made Night of Champions a little bit better. But Rick Boogs should be being built up to be a potential challenger for Austin Theory. And then if you want to stick with Austin Theory, LA Knight is the perfect opponent to beat Austin Theory for the United States title at SummerSlam. Stupid. And yet there's some people that want to say that, oh, Triple H is running WWE. Wait till you fucking hear. Wait till you fucking hear what other news that I got regarding WWE. And then people are still going to say, oh, Vince is not running WWE. This is Triple H. We got to blame Triple H. Before I get into that, let's talk about Randy Orton. Sports Skeeta's Bill Apter, he caught up with WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton at 80s WrestleCon. I was at 80s WrestleCon. I saw Cowboy Bob Orton. I did not have a chance to meet him, but he was doing an autograph signing. He was taking some pictures. So Bill Apter caught up with Bob Orton at 80s WrestleCon 2 weeks ago today, and Mr. Orton gave an update on his son's condition as he has been out for over a year now. Bob Orton stated, and I quote, he's training, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if he feels like going back, or if he feels like he's ready to go back. I think he might. Then again, he's pretty well taken care of. I'm assuming he's talking about the money that Randy Orton has saved up throughout the course of his career. I don't think he needs to. He goes, I don't think he needs to. I think the doctors have told him not to. So this has obviously sparked up some conversation. Some people are saying that Randy Orton's career could very well be over. Then again, we thought that about Edge. We thought that about Saraya. We thought that about Bryan. We thought that about Stone Cold. We thought that about many people, but they always end up coming back to the ring at some point. If Randy Orton has had all of this time to rest up, you can imagine that Randy Orton's going to do everything in his power to get back to where he needs to be and end his career properly. If the back injury is as serious as it's made out to be, I don't see Randy Orton lasting very, very long. However, I can't see this being the end. With the run that Randy Orton has been on and all the bumps that he's taken, an injury like this obviously was going to come. But at the end of the day, regardless of what Bob Orton Sr. says, I do not see this being a scenario where Randy Orton is just going to give it up that easily. Randy Orton is one of the very few legends in this business that has stayed true to the WWE. He didn't want to go out and pursue greener pastures. He is as passionate about wrestling and as passionate about the WWE as they come. I cannot see Randy Orton just sitting back and letting his career end because of an injury like this. If Randy Orton's going to go out, he's going to come back. He's going to work his ass off, do what he needs to do to get healthy, and he's going to come back stronger than ever. I can't see Randy Orton just letting it end like this. I can't. We are going to keep an eye on that, but that is what I got as far as Randall Keith Orton goes. Now, again, he is well taken care of, and he may not even need to go back because he's made his money. But at least I would love to see him in one more proper run where he really starts to give back to the industry. He's really started to give back to the industry with RK Bro and what they did there. That was a great tag team. So I really hope that if he comes back sooner rather than later, I genuinely hope that we will see Randy Orton give back to the industry even more and put over some stars that he has yet to put over. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was reported by Adam Pearce to be injured on Raw. This is not a work for storyline purposes. This is not an angle. Liv Morgan, according to Sean Ross Sapp, is legit injured. She was injured in the tag match with Damage Control last week on SmackDown. However, the severity of the injury remains unknown. Now, although the severity of the injury remains unknown, the injury was severe enough for them to strip the Women's Tag Team Championships from Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and now we will see a fatal four-way match between Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Damage Control, Ronda and Shayna, and Raquel and a mystery partner. So, Liv Morgan, by the looks of it, looks like she may have gotten a concussion. Not really sure how severe the concussion is, but Liv Morgan is going to be out for a considerable amount of time. She cannot fulfill her tag team title duties with Raquel Rodriguez. Now we got this fatal four-way match in which essentially the draft rules have been fucking broken because you got Damage Control, a SmackDown trio, or at least Bayley and Io, 2/3 of Damage Control who got drafted to SmackDown. Now they're competing on Raw for the Women's Tag Team Championships. On top of that, we have gotten absolutely no word on what they are going to do with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Why do we have two sets of Women's Tag Team titles and we have gotten absolutely no explanation as to what they're going to do with them? You had Isla Dawn and Alba Fire in a 45-second squash match this past Friday on SmackDown, and that went nowhere. It was just a showcase match just to merely get them on the show. They didn't really showcase much of anything. Now, the women's tag team titles are vacant because of Liv Morgan's injury. You put forth a fatal four-way match. You break your own draft rules by having Damage Control, a SmackDown team, appear on Raw. Why are we not getting a unification match? Why not book a unification match of some sort at Night of Champions? It would have fit the show. We need to do the unification match, and while we're at it, abolish both sets of women's tag team titles. They do nothing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that I need to sit here and I need to watch WWE constantly ignore the logic gaps week in and week out. You got Bianca Belair holding the Monday Night Raw Women's title on SmackDown. You got Rhea Ripley holding the SmackDown Women's title on Raw. AJ Styles is a SmackDown superstar competing for the Raw exclusive World Heavyweight Championship, and I just fucking hit my microphone. You got Damage Control, a SmackDown team, competing on Monday Night Raw when they got drafted to SmackDown last week. What the fuck are they doing? How does this make any sense? But yet I'm supposed to sit here, and I'm supposed to sit here with my hands folded, and I'm just supposed to smile and wave. It is really good television. Wow, we're going to get new women's tag team champions. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. Am I really the only one asking these questions? Am I really the only one with a sense of intelligence? Is the wrestling community that retarded? Are they that retarded? Moving on here. I got a report from WrestlingNews.co. WWE is considering adding a new member to Imperium. Ilya Dragunov is being eyed to join Imperium later. A timeline on when that would happen was not given. Now, for those of you that do not know, Ilya Dragunov, he is currently in a feud with Dijak, and they could be headed towards a stipulation match at NXT Battleground, which I have no issue with whatsoever. I think that that's going to be a phenomenal match if they give those two the opportunity to go out there and just beat the shit out of each other. That's going to be fun. That's going to be very, very fun. Now, I'm kind of 50-50 on this. I think that Ilya Dragunov would be a great fit for Imperium. He would be a great fit for Imperium. They have history. Him and Gunther, they have a nice, deep history. Dragunov was the man to take the NXT United Kingdom title off of Gunther when he was Walter. And then Gunther was sent off to the main roster where he eventually became the Intercontinental Champion. Now Dragunov, he would be on the main roster. He would join Imperium. There would be a sense of respect between both of those competitors, and it would put Ilya Dragunov in the prime spotlight right out of the gate because he's affiliated with Imperium, who should be stronger than they are. At least Marcel Bartel or Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, they should be better off than they are right now. However, I want to pose this question. Does Ilya Dragunov really need Imperium? I can't really see him needing the group. Ilya Dragunov has really built the reputation where he can stand on his own 2 feet. You look at Ilya Dragunov and you see a solo star. There was a certain vibe that Dragunov gave off in NXT that was different than anyone else. He could essentially be a mini version of Gunther. This is much different than a JD McDonough. JD McDonough didn't really have too much of an opportunity to really establish himself in NXT to a point where he could stand on his own 2 feet. On top of that, it really doesn't feel as though JD McDonough has ever truthfully connected with the audience like an Ilya Dragunov has, which is why putting him in the Judgment Day would be fine. But Dragunov, I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to him joining Imperium. I think it would make sense and it would fit the group. But Dragunov is so good right now that he could stand on his own 2 feet and he'll be fine. On top of that, they need some singles talent. So if anything, I would not put Dragunov with Imperium. You could experiment with that a little bit later down the line, but right now, Dragunov would be a perfect candidate to go up there and potentially take the Intercontinental title off of Gunther. They already got a nice mid-card on SmackDown. You need a nice mid-card on Monday Night Raw now. You're going to have to develop a nice mid-card on Monday Night Raw sooner rather than later. Now, they started out pretty decently. We got a very nice video package for JD McDonough. We got one for Apollo Crews as well. We got Ali is now getting an opportunity, which I think is going to be great. You got Matt Riddle in there. Matt Riddle, I believe, is going to be Gunther's opponent at SummerSlam, if anything. So we'll see what happens there. But listen, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but right now, Dragunov is good enough where he should be on his own. Boozer again. According to Wrestling Insider Twitter account Boozer, by way of WrestlingNews.co, Roman Reigns is set to work even less dates going forward. So Roman Reigns is essentially Brock Lesnar 2.0. When Brock Lesnar inevitably finishes up, Roman Reigns is going to slot into that role of being WWE's Brock Lesnar, where he's going to work select dates and come back for the big shows. There are reported plans to fill the huge void that Reigns will leave soon with other huge stars. Reigns is reported to take the championship with him on his sabbatical. Now, if anything, I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, this is fucking ridiculous. I read this shit and then I take a look at what WWE's doing with Cody Rhodes and how they're having him go on and on in this feud with Brock Lesnar. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck? I continue to ask every fucking week. I continue to ask with the crowd reactions. I continue to ask with the lack of dates that Roman Reigns is working. I continue to ask with the constant cycle that WWE is just going through with this Roman Reigns bloodline angle that really should have ended at WrestleMania. I am still asking the fucking question, why the fuck didn't you give the World Championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Why? How is anyone looking at WWE programming coming out of WrestleMania? How is anyone looking at WWE programming towards the end of 2022 versus what has been going on all year? You look at Raw and SmackDown in the last 4 to 5 months of 2022, and then you compare it to what's going on in 2023 since the year began. How do you look at 2022 versus 2023 and say to yourself, yeah, WWE's doing really well in 2023. You can tout financial statistics all you fucking want. The shows are boring. The shows do not have energy. The shows are lifeless. Further proving what I have been saying for God knows how long. I said it last week. I'm going to continue to say it. I've said it plenty of times in the past. At the end of the day, at their core, WWE is a lazy company. You have them breaking their draft rules every which way. You're having Roman Reigns hold the championship on his fucking sabbatical. You are going through the motions with legitimately everything minus this bloodline storyline. It's ridiculous. It is legitimately ridiculous. Roman Reigns, and at the end of the day, none of this shit's Roman's fault. That's the crazy part about it. None of this shit is Roman's fault. Roman Reigns did what he needed to do in order to get himself right. And for a good chunk of his world title reign, he was helping out others. He was helping out others by giving him the rub to be in the same ring as him. Guys like Jey Uso, guys like Drew McIntyre, guys like Owens, guys like Cesaro and Edge and Bryan and Finn Balor. People like that. He was making other people feel important just by being in the ring with them. And then he started taking these less dates. He didn't show up on the show. There was no storyline progression other than when he's there. If it hadn't been for Sami Zayn, the Bloodline would have been dead a long time ago. The Bloodline merely managed to survive because Sami Zayn joined the Bloodline. The Bloodline coming out of WrestleMania 38 last year was dead in the water because there was no one to stand toe-to-toe with them. Then along came Sami Zayn and he rejuvenated them. And still to this day, even with Sami out of the Bloodline, he is still making the Bloodline interesting. I don't blame Roman Reigns one bit for this. He wants to take less dates because he wants to preserve his body and he's going to transition into Hollywood. Fine. But WWE should have made the decision to take the title off of him if this was the case. Roman Reigns at the end of the day is just doing his job. You can't blame him for that. Roman Reigns, if he was to lay down and lose the championship today, he would have done that no problem for the right amount of cash. He don't care. He doesn't care. But at the end of the day, when it comes to him dropping the titles, that's ultimately not his decision to make. That is management's decision to make. And at the end of the day, when it comes to management, Vince will never allow Roman Reigns to just go quietly into the night. At the end of the day, if we do not see Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, this entire reign, it's becoming a fucking joke. It's honestly becoming a fucking joke. It's tiresome, it's lame, it's lazy. I don't know what other fucking adjective I could use in the English language to describe the fact that they have run this shit into the ground. It's like an overcooked fucking steak. You left it on the grill for too long. You had everything right. You had the seasoning. You had the perfect piece of meat, as less amount of fat as possible, the least amount of fat on this piece of meat, perfectly seasoned, perfectly marinated to perfection. You throw it on the grill, you leave it on the grill for too long, and you fucked it up. You fucked it up. Cody Rhodes in his world title win over Roman Reigns, it's not going to feel as special as it would have at WrestleMania, but at the end of the day, you need to get the titles off of him, and you need to get it off of him now, because there is nothing left for Roman to do. This is one thing that I fucking hated. I realized he was probably scripted to say this shit, but when Roman Reigns said, "Oh, we barely even scratched the surface" in the WrestleMania press conference, motherfucker, Roman, listen, I love you. Listen, I like you, Roman, but I mean, you may be a little mental over there. You barely even scratched the surface. Roman Reigns, you've done it all. There's nothing left for the Bloodline to do except for feud with each other. Roman Reigns obviously can't do much. He can't do much of anything when it comes to Vince McMahon. I'll be a betting man, and I'll say that Roman Reigns probably pitched to turn heel a lot sooner than 3 years ago. I bet you that Roman Reigns, he pitched to turn heel way, way longer than the pandemic. Took a fucking pandemic to turn Roman heel. If anything, Roman Reigns, I wouldn't be shocked if he was saying, hey, Vince, can I turn heel in like 2016 and 2017? You could tell that he was not comfortable in the babyface role that he was given. He wanted to turn heel a long, long time ago. But Vince McMahon never gave in. It took a fucking pandemic to get Vince McMahon to finally turn him heel. So I wouldn't be shocked, even if Roman Reigns would speak up, that Vince McMahon wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Vince has too much of an ego. Vince has too much pride. At the end of the day, Roman's not to blame for this. Roman's not to blame at all. It is all on Vince McMahon. It is all on Vince McMahon because they refuse to build up new stars. They put all their eggs in one basket. And at the end of the day, plain and simple, they're lazy. WWE's lazy. I genuinely hope that we get those titles off of Roman Reigns within the next couple months. I really hope we do. Should have happened at WrestleMania. Speaking of superstars taking a sabbatical, Seth Rollins recently got announced for the new Captain America project in a high-profile acting role. Now, the WRKD Wrestling Twitter account posted that although a lot of people are happy for Rollins, that he's starting to break out of the world of wrestling, there is a bit of hesitation about putting the new World Heavyweight Championship on him. The main concern is that more acting roles could come of this project with Captain America, and his time could be consumed in the world of Hollywood rather than the world of professional wrestling. Now, this is a valid concern. I completely understand WWE's thinking there. But although it's kind of hypocritical because you got the fucking title on Roman Reigns and he's pretty much transitioning into fucking Hollywood. Regardless, I will say this. I will say that Seth Rollins winning the World Championship would probably be the best possible decision. However, I saw Solomonster pitch this. Solomonster, listen, I don't listen to him very, very often, but when I do, Solomonster actually brings some solid takes to the table. I will give him credit there. I don't really respect many people, but I will give my props to Solomonster. Solomonster stated that if they are a little concerned with Seth Rollins potentially going off to Hollywood and they want to give AJ Styles the World Championship, AJ Styles winning the world title would not be that bad of a decision because you could give Styles the world title. He would be transferred over to Raw with the OC, and then we could potentially get Cody transferred to SmackDown, and that is how Cody Rhodes finishes his story. Maybe Cody Rhodes won't have to win Money in the Bank, and maybe we could inevitably get a new individual winning Money in the Bank. Maybe an LA Knight. Maybe a Cameron Grimes. Maybe a JD McDonough. Maybe somebody new. Who knows? That I would not mind. But I completely understand the little bit of hesitation to give Seth Rollins the World Championship because of this, because they don't want to have another scenario like they're having with Roman Reigns. Although the Roman Reigns scenario, that's easy to fix. Just book him to lose the titles. But, Vince McMahon. At the end of the day, I completely get WWE's concerns there. I'm still going with Rollins. I don't think that Rollins is really going to invest full-time in Hollywood yet. I think that Rollins is going to probably start transitioning into Hollywood after he has a nice lengthy reign with the World Championship. That's what I'm getting at. I don't think that they're going to go full throttle with Seth Rollins in Hollywood yet. I think that Rollins still has a little bit of unfinished business because he never got a proper World Heavyweight Championship title reign. That's what I'm getting at. I got a positive report here. According to Fightful, Bryan Danielson will be helping out with the creative on AEW Collision. AEW Collision was made official this week on AEW television. It will debut on June 17th, reportedly from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And reportedly, Bryan will be helping out with the creative. And if that's the case, that is a great maneuver because Bryan Danielson, he's a very creative mind. He was a guy that was pushing for a lot of people to get a lot of showcase back when he was in WWE. Guys like Cesaro, guys like Nakamura, he was trying to get them in the spotlight. He was trying to say, hey, why don't we push these guys? Why don't we get these guys in the spotlight and have these guys go out there and showcase to everyone just how good they are? Not bad. It's not a bad strategy at all. But I think that with Bryan helping out with Collision's creative, if they're going to give Bryan a good chunk of the creative on Collision, and you got guys like Miro and Andrade and Thunder Rosa, the House of Black, I think that Bryan is going to do them very, very good. We've slowly started to see Bryan transition a little bit more into a backstage role. He hasn't really been going too hog wild ever since that Iron Man match at Revolution. I don't think he's competed once since Revolution. I think that this Anarchy in the Arena match, this is going to be his first match in about almost 3 months. So if anything, I don't mind it whatsoever. I don't mind it whatsoever that they are putting Bryan in more backstage roles. Because if Bryan is in backstage roles, he could work essentially from home as well. He could still be with his family, and he won't be at risk. He won't be at too much risk of potentially hurting himself further. So I like the fact that Bryan is transitioning more into creative. Some of the stars in AEW, they got a nice head on their shoulders. Bryan is very good. Moxley, I can see transitioning into creative at some point. Jericho as well. So you know what? I genuinely am excited to see what Bryan brings to the table as far as a creative aspect with Collision goes. Russell Votes posted an update regarding the ideas and visions of the post-WrestleMania season. And this is quite interesting. And if anything, it just further validates my claims regarding Vince McMahon and my criticisms and my rants and my complaints. The tweet read, and I quote, "Interesting tidbit. Source says a number of creative decisions and ideas planned prior to WrestleMania have not gone the way some envisioned." Oh, you don't say. Continuing on, the tweet read, "Not to say for better or worse, but the direction for some superstars is far different than what had internally been discussed." End quote. I mean, I think we can all guess who those individuals are. I'll throw one big guy right out of the gate, Cody Rhodes. Do you honestly believe that Brock Lesnar was the plan for Cody Rhodes coming out of WrestleMania? Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes had nothing to do with each other. I don't think they've crossed paths even once throughout the course of their careers. I don't think Brock Lesnar even knew Cody Rhodes fucking existed. Brock Lesnar's in his own little private bubble. He doesn't give a fuck. How are you going to convince me that this was the plan all along with Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar when we did not get any sense of a hint or any vibe that Brock Lesnar had any beef with Cody? It wasn't even teased before WrestleMania. It was legitimately, it was booked the day of. It was booked the day of the Raw after WrestleMania. With the plan that we have been seeing unravel before our eyes and the booking of this program since the start, where we have yet to get a fucking explanation. We got a match that ended out of nowhere at Backlash. It did not turn out the way that it should have turned out. And Cody Rhodes is essentially coming out here, repeating himself, saying a lot of nothing. Brock Lesnar is a lazy piece of shit. How exactly are we supposed to sit here and believe that Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes was the plan all along? What about LA Knight? LA Knight has been taking, I think that LA Knight, we are almost 6 months into 2023, and LA Knight only has about 2 victories this year. He only has about 2 victories this year. He's been losing to everyone. He's been losing to Bray Wyatt, losing to Rey Mysterio. He's been losing to fucking the Street Profits. He's been losing to Xavier Woods. LLL. What about Karrion Kross? What about Kross? Look at Kross. Kross is legitimately everybody's wet dream when it comes to being a professional wrestler. Kross has everything. I'm not saying he's going to be putting on match of the year candidates on a weekly basis like Kenny Omega, but the guy's a great wrestler. He's a great talker. He's got a great character. He's got a great look. He's got the entrance. He's got a hot fucking wife. Kross has everything that you would want in a superstar. There is one thing that Kross hasn't had this year: booking. Look at the booking of Karrion Kross. And again, I got to shout out Solomonster again. Solomonster pointed this out. Kross has essentially turned into the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt 2.0. Talks a big game. He's got all the tools, but he never wins. He never wins the big matches. Never. He's lost to Rey Mysterio. He's lost to Shinsuke Nakamura this year. He lost the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now they got him facing AJ Styles next week on SmackDown. And what do you think's going to happen? We're 24 hours removed from a world title match with Styles and Rollins. What do you think's going to happen? Styles is going to win. Kross is going to lose. Nothing but loss after loss after loss after loss for Karrion Kross. You think that was the plan? Karrion Kross should be fighting guys like Karrion Kross should have easily been a contender to potentially take the IC title off of Gunther. If not the IC title, then at least the US title. Karrion Kross would be a perfect candidate for the US title to run roughshod with it. Cody, LA Knight, Karrion Kross. Look at Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. How many fucking losses have they taken? Kevin Owens lost to Solo Sikoa on Raw. Sami Zayn lost to Jey Uso on SmackDown. They lost to the Judgment Day. They lost to the Bloodline at Backlash. They recently lost to Judgment Day this past Monday on Raw. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have lost more as tag team champions than they've taken losses in the last year. Karrion Kross, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Bray Wyatt. Look at his booking or lack of booking. Some people want to say that he is out because of a medical condition. You know what? That could be somewhat true. But do you honestly believe that Vince McMahon's return to the company has nothing to do with that? You think it has nothing to do with that whatsoever? You think that Bray Wyatt's okay with having Vince back in the company? You watch the shows between 2014 in August and then in December, and then look at the shows in 2023. In no way, shape, or form are they even close to the same shows. Look at the booking of stars like Karrion Kross and LA Knight. They have taken more losses than I can fucking count. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they're still feuding with the Bloodline, even though it should have ended at WrestleMania. What about Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes and his feud with Brock Lesnar. You think that was the plan prior to WrestleMania? Bullshit. They've had no beef. They never crossed paths. It was booked legitimately the day of the Raw after WrestleMania. So yeah, of course, certain plans haven't gone to fruition. Certain plans haven't gone the way that some people have visioned. Why? Vince McMahon is back. If you do not see that, you may be the dumbest fuck walking the planet today. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable how all of these examples are just staring people right in the face. All these examples are just staring people right. What about Omos? Look at Omos. How many fucking big time matches have we seen Omos in recent months? Omos had a fucking match at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, but yet Bray Wyatt didn't have one, LA Knight didn't have one, Mustafa Ali didn't have one, Johnny Gargano didn't have one. Who did else have one? Damian Priest didn't have one. Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Bray Wyatt, all these guys did not get WrestleMania matches, but you can find room for fucking Omos. You can find room for him on the fucking show. What about Backlash? Backlash, where legitimately Omos and Seth Rollins, that match was booked out of thin air. Vince legitimately just pulled it out of his 80-year-old ass and said, there you go. Of course, shit hasn't gone the way that some people have envisioned. Why? Because Vince is back. People want to continuously come up with excuses. Oh, he's not back. Oh, he's not back. Oh, no, he's not back. Fucking retards. Retards everywhere. Tony Khan. While speaking to Maggie and Perloff on the Maggie and Perloff show, Tony Khan said that he was indeed interested in buying the WWE, while implying that it would have been a huge moment in wrestling history. Although Tony Khan did not land the big deal, the fact that he won't take his eyes off the new company is very, very telling. And you know what? It just goes to show you that Tony Khan really has his finger on the pulse of the wrestling world. Tony Khan wants to be aware. And of course, he's keeping an eye on WWE. WWE has done everything in their power to try and undermine Tony Khan. So it would not be shocking whatsoever if Tony Khan was to even think about buying WWE, just to shove it in their face for undermining him and just disrespecting him all around. Wouldn't mind it. I got a report regarding Nick Khan. PW Insider reported WWE held an all-hands-on-deck meeting for employees today, led by Nick Khan. It was basically a morale-boosting meeting, praising how great things are and how much WWE appreciates the hard work. There was no indication, warning, or comment about potential impending budget cuts. Now, if you're wondering why this was called to action and why Nick Khan organized this meeting and had an all-hands-on-deck meeting for employees, I'm not sure if the superstars attended, but if you're wondering why, it's because a recent report came out stating that there were racist claims against an ex-WWE writer and Vince McMahon and the shitty culture that has inhabited WWE for far too long. That's why this came about. Because Nick Khan is trying to pour water all over the flames and calm down all of this fucking heat and all the fucking rumors that WWE has a shit backstage culture. And if anything, I would not be shocked if this is nothing more than a means to calm everyone down, only to pull the rug out from underneath everyone. You want to talk about morale boosting? It's never a morale booster when Vince is still working for the WWE. Nick Khan is a trusted Vince McMahon confidant. Why would anyone take what he says seriously? Especially after the numerous amounts of budget cuts that we've gotten in the past where WWE hasn't even given an indication of it being sold. At the end of the day, there's absolutely budget cuts coming down. Why? Because that's what Endeavor does. That's what Endeavor does. Endeavor is going to look for a return on their investment, and if they don't get it, they're going to start cutting their losses. Why do you think Drew McIntyre is currently off of television? You could say that he's injured all you want, but he is currently at odds with WWE because he is not happy, and he could very well be looking to leave. I'm not saying that's a definite. I'm saying it's a possibility. But at the end of the day, I don't understand how anyone could take Nick Khan seriously. This is nothing more than Nick Khan putting on a happy face, putting on a fake mask to smile and wave at everyone and say that everything's going fine and dandy. Meanwhile, they're probably planning budget cuts as we speak. Nick Khan is probably talking with Vince McMahon and Endeavor, thinking to themselves, all right, who are we going to cut? Who are we going to cut? And if they're not trying to put forth cuts, if they're not looking towards potential impending budget cuts, this is nothing more than a way to calm everyone down after the lawsuit that came out regarding a racist backstage culture between Vince McMahon and ex-WWE writers. That's it. That's all this was. All hands on deck meeting. Yeah. When it comes to a meeting, when it comes to WWE, even Triple H and Stephanie, we were told that nothing was going to change. Meanwhile, Stephanie resigned from her position legitimately 2 days after Vince McMahon came about. Stephanie was legitimately our only protection against Vince McMahon. Now she's been gone. Vince McMahon is slowly but surely destroying WWE from the inside. Look at the quality of the television product and look at how hot they were versus how hot they are now. No one gives a fuck about anything going on in WWE minus what's going on with the bloodline. One thing that I wish I wouldn't be talking about, but one thing I'm going to have to bring to everyone's attention is what's going on with CM Punk. Now, according to PW Insider, Punk is once again at odds with AEW. Dave Meltzer reported that Ace Steel, Punk's trainer, was reportedly rehired by AEW months ago to help with creative. However, he is not currently showing up backstage, as that would anger many people. It was expected that CM Punk would make his return next month, reportedly being the star of AEW's new show Collision. But it's reportedly been decided that he won't be working the Collision tapings. Russell Haas reported that Punk's relationship with Tony Khan, however, is on sound footing, and he is supposedly very motivated. No issues are known between Punk and Tony Khan, and communication has remained open. However, there are certain stars that are not looking forward to CM Punk's return, and certain stars that have a lot of unresolved issues with CM Punk. CM Punk recently got himself into a social media verbal sparring fest with one Brian Alvarez, calling out his fake reports and then posting an Instagram story saying that no one knows what's going on backstage. You should stop assuming and to go touch grass. Now, first off, I'm going to throw this out there right now. You got one report saying that Punk and Tony Khan are on good relationship terms. Then you got one report saying that CM Punk is once again at odds with AEW. I truthfully don't know what to believe. I truthfully do not know what to believe. I truthfully don't know what to say. I truthfully don't know how to approach this. I don't. Maybe, let's say that Punk and Tony Khan are on good communicational terms. What are the terms exactly that are going on between Tony Khan and CM Punk? What exactly is the underlying truth? Do we have any underlying truth? Is Ace Steel really rehired? If he is rehired, I don't understand why you would rehire him. The only reason why I could see AEW rehiring Ace Steel is because CM Punk said, all right, you want me back? Give me Ace Steel back. That's the only reason why I could see AEW even entertaining the idea of rehiring Ace Steel. It would be fucking stupid for them to rehire Ace Steel if that's the case. So I'm really not sure where this shit even came from. Why would you rehire someone that threw a chair at someone's eye, bit an EVP in the arm as if he was fucking Larry the dog, for no fucking reason at that, and is pretty much only taking the side of CM Punk without looking at it objectively because he trained CM Punk? That's the only reason why he's there. Do I believe he's back? I don't know. Could CM Punk have gotten himself in trouble because of what's going on with Bryan Alvarez? Maybe. If Bryan Alvarez is wrong and if Dave Meltzer is wrong, then they're wrong. But at the end of the day, I think that CM Punk should really learn to conduct himself a little bit more professionally. If certain shit is wrong, then just let it be. If it's wrong, then it's wrong. Do you realize how many people talk shit about me on a daily basis, and I see this shit? But you know what I do? I barely even respond. There are some people that have had problems with me for 3, 4, 5 years now, and they still talk about me on social media, but I don't acknowledge them because I know that what they're saying is wrong. They say the same shit over and over again, and it just falls on deaf ears. If someone is saying something that is wrong, then you know what? You should just let it be. You should just let it be and let that be the end of it, and you won't have to worry about a thing. CM Punk, it seems as though he gets bothered by so many fucking little things. And this is what I said back in September. I think CM Punk is great at what he does. He will go down as one of the greatest of all time, but the man is just a fucking pussy. He really is a pussy. He gets worked up over the littlest things. He gets worked up over the stupidest things at that. Who fucking cares what the dirt sheets are saying? Let the dirt sheets be dirt sheets. Let the people decide whether they're right or wrong. And if they're right, then they're right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. Who cares? You prove them wrong by being professional, showing up to TV, and putting out the best possible product that you could put out. There's legitimately no fucking professionalism. Now let's say that Ace Steel did get rehired. Let's say that Ace Steel got rehired. Why? Why would you even entertain the idea of rehiring Ace Steel? Tony Khan, if he has rehired Ace Steel, that just goes to show you that Tony Khan is a poor fucking leader. I said that Tony Khan needs to start acting like a boss. He needs to start acting like a CEO. He needs to spread out the responsibilities amongst people. It seems as though he's looking to do that. He hired Will Washington. If Will Washington has been running AEW the last couple of weeks, he's been doing good. And then you got Bryan Danielson, who is said to be part of creative with Collision. But then Tony Khan just bending over backwards for one man, bending over backwards for CM Punk, trying to rehire Ace Steel. Who is really running the company? You're going to bend over backwards and rehire someone, a 50-year-old man, or at least close to a 50-year-old man, who threw a chair at Nick Jackson's eye, bit Kenny Omega in the arm, acted like a fucking juvenile all for CM Punk. That is absolute shit leadership skills by Tony Khan. I really don't understand why Tony Khan is just so fucking afraid to stand up for himself. He's so fucking afraid to get some shit, get dirty, get down in there, get dirty, and fight shit out with certain people and say, listen, this is my company, this is what we're going to do, you're going to work this shit out, or you're gone. Vince McMahon, let me tell you something, Vince McMahon is absolute fucking shit. He's a shit human being, but at the end of the day, Tony Khan really needs to get his shit together. I don't believe for 1 second, please, I really do not want anyone to come out and say, oh yeah, the Omega and the Bucks, yeah, they stormed into Punk's locker room. No, they fucking didn't. If anything, I would say that they knocked on CM Punk's locker room after CM Punk said, hey, if you got a problem with me, then approach me. And CM Punk, being the fucking pussy that he is, he got all worked up. He spread all these fucking lies. His dog was not injured. in this whole ordeal. His dog was not injured. Ace Steel should have never gotten involved. And I don't believe for 1 second that the Young Bucks or Omega would try and spread false rumors about CM Punk to try and get him fired. Oh yeah, he was the one that tried to force Colt Cabana out of AEW. I don't believe that shit for 1 second. Why would they jeopardize a company that they helped created for a man that's not even going to be around for the next 5 years? He's not going to stay in the business for the next 5 years. He came back to do his shit for the next 3 years, 4 years, and then probably by 2025, 2026, he's going to be gone. Punk did not come back to stay in the wrestling business until he's 50, 55, 60. He came back to end his career on the right terms. And that's exactly what he came back to do. So if they are that fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? If they got their panties that much up in a bunch because of Phil Brooks, meanwhile, they're younger than Phil, they're more agile than Phil, they're better wrestlers than Phil, if we're going to be quite honest with you, and they have more longevity than Phil. I really don't understand why the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega would even contemplate doing something like that. That's why I called out that report as bullshit. I don't believe for 1 second that the Young Bucks and Omega would try and get Punk fired or paint him in a bad light purposely. But CM Punk, he should not have conducted himself in the manner that he did. And if whatever was going on did indeed happen, if the Bucks and Omega, and they came out with this report that the Bucks and Omega tried to get Punk fired, or they tried to paint Punk in a bad light because he tried to get Colt Cabana removed from AEW, then Punk should have approached them in a much more professional manner. It's like I'm watching fucking Degrassi high school drama. Why is it that no one is fucking professional? Why? It's unbelievable. These guys are 35, 37, 40, 42 years old, and I act like more of a professional than these motherfuckers. I did a fucking 2-hour stream at 80s WrestleCon 2 weeks ago. And you know what I did? I kept it low key. I was away from everyone. I didn't bother anyone. I didn't scream to the high heavens. I didn't go off on cursing tangents or shit like that. Very poor leadership skills by Tony Khan if Ace Steel is truthfully rehired. And CM Punk really, really needs to get his shit together. Everyone needs to get their shit together. Everyone needs to get their shit together because this is just beyond ridiculous at this point. This is just beyond ridiculous at this point. I don't know what the fuck's gonna. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. But if anything, Tony Khan really needs to step into this scenario. He needs to step into this scenario, and he needs to talk shit out with Punk, get shit squared away with the Elite, and get shit squared away with anyone else who has an issue with Punk. This shit is ridiculous. And it's not fun. It's not fun to watch as a fan of a company that has superseded everyone's expectations in record time, a company like AEW. Company that's superseded everyone's expectations. It's not fun to watch shit like this just crumble before our very eyes. On a more serious note, superstar Billy Graham recently passed away earlier this week at the age of 79. His health was not in very good condition, and he was suffering for a little bit. That is no longer the case. He is no longer with us. I cannot imagine what his family and friends are going through, but my thoughts and prayers go out to the family, the friends, anyone that was directly associated with superstar Billy Graham. And in many cases, you could look at him as the man that was the first true villain in a sense. He really gave new meaning to what a villain really is. He blurred the lines between kayfabe and reality and really made people believe that he was actually like that. He was legitimately an asshole in real life. And that is something that I can respect. So thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of superstar Billy Graham. There will never be another. And my final report before we get into the weekly show reviews. According to PW Insider, Bray Wyatt is no longer listed on the internal roster for the WWE. And you know what? This does not shock me whatsoever. This does not shock me whatsoever. You take a look at everything that has gone on with Bray Wyatt this year, and you can clearly tell that he is essentially moving further and further and further away from the WWE. And I can't help but feel sorry for him. I really do. It is unbelievable how badly WWE has fucked up Bray Wyatt. It's unbelievable how badly WWE has fucked up Bray Wyatt. You know, I don't know why, but I just randomly decided to pop on Payback pay-per-view from 2015. Payback pay-per-view from 2015. Bray Wyatt had a match on the show, and it was against Ryback. Yes, feed me more Ryback. And let me tell you something. Let's not listen. You can have your opinions on him. You can think that he's an idiot all you want. That he's a fucking meathead. He's a roid head. But at the end of the day, Ryback was not a bad professional wrestler. Ryback was not bad. If anything, I take Ryback over Omos any day of the week. He's better than Jinder Mahal. He's better than Omos. He was better than fucking Dana Brooke. Certainly a lot better than all those individuals. Ryback was never a bad pro wrestler. He just wasn't overly exciting. But I remember that little mini feud. It only lasted about 3 weeks back in 2015. We don't know why they were even feuding. And they had a match at Payback. And it went about 11 minutes. And it wasn't anything over the top. It wasn't anything match of the year worthy, but it was a solid match. It was a solid match. It was hard-hitting. It was physical. Both men matched up very, very well together, and Ryback looked very good in defeat. Matter of fact, Bray Wyatt made Ryback look like $1 million. And I was watching this match, and after the match was over, I spent 11 minutes watching the match on Peacock. After the match was over, I thought to myself, why is it that match with Bray Wyatt and Ryback was better than legitimately every single match that Bray Wyatt has had in the last 3 years, minus the strap match with Bryan Danielson? Bray Wyatt has been in the ring with numerous amounts of superstars in the last 4 years, that are better than Ryback. He's been in the ring with Seth Rollins. He's been in the ring with Braun Strowman. He's been in the ring with LA Knight. He's been in the ring with Randy Orton. And every single time that we've had a Bray Wyatt match, minus the strap match with Bryan Danielson at the Rumble 3 years ago, minus that strap match, every single Bray Wyatt match has sucked. Why? Why exactly has WWE gone out of their way to avoid giving us the one thing with Bray Wyatt that we have desired? We've desired for years. Just let him wrestle. And what did WWE do? They put Bray Wyatt in a feud with LA Knight, and they were doing great. Then the Royal Rumble came around, and Vince McMahon didn't even allow Bray Wyatt to do what he normally does. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. Vince McMahon came back, and as soon as 2023 began, everything fell apart. Everything regarding... He had one of the best returns of the last 5 years. His return at Extreme Rules was great. His return at Extreme Rules was fucking epic. And what did they do with him? I would not be shocked. And now he's still on the payroll. He's still on the payroll, but I would not be shocked if Bray Wyatt is gone. I would not be shocked if Bray Wyatt is gone by the fall. Listen, could he be injured? Possibly. If Bray Wyatt is coming out and claiming that he's injured, now I haven't really seen any reports from Bray himself because Bray is usually very reserved. Bray usually keeps to himself, but if you don't think that this has just at least a little bit to do with Vince, I think your X and Y chromosome ain't connected properly. I think that your brain ain't wired correctly. You take a look at what Bray Wyatt was doing between October and December and what he was doing with LA Knight, and as soon as 2023 began, a 5-minute match with LA Knight at the Rumble, cheesy Firefly Funhouse segments, all of this bullshit, nonsensical storylines and programs with Bray Wyatt, it absolutely sucked. And I would not be shocked if Bray Wyatt is gone from the WWE within the next few months. It's honest to God sad. It is. It honest to God is it's genuinely fucking sad. And I really fucking hate to see, I genuinely fucking hate to see a guy as talented as Bray Wyatt fail. Because he has everything that you need to succeed. All you need to do is book him correctly. It's a shame. It's a damn fucking shame. He's off the internal roster. I can only imagine he'll be off the payroll by the fall. They're going to have to start making some cuts. Hoss. Bray Wyatt still is good in the ring. The problem is that WWE is not allowing him to be. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. I hope you guys are having a good time. Thank you all for all of the support. It has been a great stream thus far. We are going to get into the weekly show reviews. We got Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage to talk about. Raw and SmackDown this week, not all that good. Dynamite and Rampage this week were actually very solid. Dynamite clearly was better than Rampage, but we did get some decent material on Rampage. We will be talking about that. We will be going over it very, very soon. But first things first, we're going to get into Monday Night Raw. They started off with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They kicked off the show. Sami was all hyped. He was all excited, saying that they'll be defending their titles against Solo and Roman. We don't see it as a threat. We see it as a gift. A gift at revenge on Roman Reigns. Kevin should have beaten Roman. I should have beaten Roman. Roman has gone unchecked for too long. Now he wants the tag team titles and he wants to keep pushing his own bloodline too far and too hard. It's never enough. Roman, you want these championships? You can't have them. Owens was about to speak before the Judgment Day came out. Judgment Day then came out and Owens said, you know what, I'm done talking. You're not here to hang out, right? So let's fight. Zayn goes, wait, hold on. Listen, I started out as a 10, but we don't have an issue with the Judgment Day, so let's hear him out. Gentlemen and Dom. I thought that was funny. Floor is yours, said Sami. Priest said, you know what, I'd actually love to fight right now. Finn then tried to calm him down. He goes, whoa, tranquilo. So then Finn wanted to wish them luck, and if by some miracle they win at Night of Champions, you will have a long line of people waiting for you, and the line starts here. Rhea was mega over. Zayn then said, you know, I'd like to hear what Dom has to say. Crowd booed heavily. Dom couldn't speak. This was great, actually. I love when Dom just gets rained down boos. Owens said, "Can I just punch him in the face?" Sami said, "Yeah, go ahead." So Judgment Day then intervened, and Sami brought out a chair as the champ stood tall. This was not a bad way to open the show whatsoever, and it was very enjoyable to see the Judgment Day out there with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and Dom is still getting good heat. So one thing I will say that I like is the fact that everyone is gunning for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I appreciate that. It makes the tag team titles feel more important. You got the Judgment Day, you got Imperium, you got the Bloodline. Everyone is gunning for Sami and Owens. It makes the tag titles seem sought after. I like that. Now, I only wish I would have liked what happened in the main event too, but we'll talk about that. The Miz versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not sure how many weeks in a row this is, but once again, The Miz puts out a semi-decent performance. And once again, I'm going to say it again. I don't mind The Miz. Miz is actually a more tolerable act than... I'm actually going to say something that may shock a lot of people. I actually prefer watching The Miz on television these last few weeks than I have Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal on AEW television. Not even lying. Not even lying. But Miz, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what they're doing, but The Miz is putting out some fairly decent matches. He put on a decent match with Seth Rollins. He put on a decent triple threat match with Finn Balor and Cody Rhodes. And here he put on a decent match with Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know what's going on with The Miz, but look, if Miz keeps this up, I won't mind him. I won't mind him on television. And we got the right outcome. Nakamura won. We got the right outcome. I can't really complain about this. So Nakamura with a knee to the side of the head and a guillotine leg drop. Miz came back with a boot to the face. Nakamura with an axe kick, some kicks to the chest. Nakamura then with a knee to the gut for a 2. We had an arm trap triangle hold by Shinsuke Nakamura. Miz with a snap DDT for a 2. The it kicks. Then a rebound enziguri for a 2 by Nakamura. We had a sliding German by Shinsuke. Miz then grabbed the apron, hit a thumb to the eye, skull-crushing finale. Nakamura got his foot on the rope. Nakamura then fired back with a beautiful Kinshasa, which connected flush on the Miz. And Nakamura pins Miz 1, 2, 3. Right outcome. Miz ends up putting on another decent match, and I don't mind it. I did not mind it at all. Shinsuke Nakamura gets the win as he should. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If they want to, Shinsuke Nakamura would be a very good candidate to beat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title after Rollins has a nice lengthy title reign with it. So I was very, very happy to see Nakamura getting the win. He looks well rested. He looks rejuvenated. He's been putting on very good matches since he's come back. I like what Nakamura's been doing. And I think that everyone here would agree with me when they say that Nakamura, I think he's deserved a lot better in his WWE run. And before he retires, I think he deserves at least a little short World Heavyweight title reign. So I would absolutely position Nakamura as a potential contender to beat Rollins after Rollins holds it for a while. And The Miz, again, man, The Miz, I don't mind him. I don't mind him. Can't even believe that I'm saying that. But The Miz putting on a decent performance. He's not overexposed. He's not the center of attention. He just puts on a decent match. He lays down, he gets beaten, and then he leaves. That's that. Corey Graves sat down with Seth Rollins in a very nice sit-down interview highlighting the career of Seth Rollins, which I thought was very good stuff. We need more of that stuff. Gunther came out with Imperium. Gunther stood on the table as Ludwig Kaiser introduced him. Der Ring General Gunther. So Gunther said, perhaps an introduction is due. I dominated Friday Night SmackDown as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of the modern era. I shall continue my mission on Monday Night Raw. No one No man has earned my respect, but one man could achieve both my respect and this championship. And a battle royal will determine my next challenger at the Night of Champions. Let me tell you something. When Gunther speaks, you listen. When Gunther speaks, you listen. He speaks with conviction, and he speaks with a powerful voice. I like to hear that. We had a battle royal to determine Gunther's next challenger. This actually started off very, very slow, but it actually got a little better towards the end. So, eliminations started out right out of the gate. Maximum male models were gone. JD McDonough was actually in there, and Ziggler eliminated him. And after Ziggler got eliminated, JD McDonough went right after Dolph Ziggler. So we got a little mini feud for JD McDonough. And we got a nice package for JD McDonough as well later on in the show. More of these vignettes, please. I'm very much liking them. We also got a little tease because during the interview with JD McDonough and Kathy Kelly, JD McDonough was being watched by Finn Balor. For those of you that do not know, JD McDonough was trained by Finn Balor. So at the end of the day, we could very well see a new member of Judgment Day. I would not mind that at all. I think that would be a brilliant move. A brilliant move for JD McDonough, and it would absolutely put him in the prime spotlight. So JD McDonough is going through a feud with Dolph Ziggler. I think that should be a very, very fun little interim feud for JD McDonough. Viking Raiders mixed it up with Alpha Academy. Otis eliminated Eric. Ivar eliminated Gable. Bronson Reed, he looked very strong in this match. He eliminated both Ivar and Otis at the same time. Coming back from commercial, we had Johnny in there. We had Ali. We had Ricochet. We had Riddick Moss. And we had Bronson Reed in there. Apollo was in there as well with Elias. We had a shooting star press by Ricochet. Samoan drop by Reed on Moss. Cruz with a blockbuster to Reed. Apollo eliminated Elias. Reed eliminated Cruz. Bronson Reed then dropped Gargano onto, I believe it was Apollo Crews, if I'm not mistaken, just slammed him. We had a floating bro by Matt Riddle, who was in there. Moss was then eliminated by Riddle. Riddle eliminated Gargano. Imperium then tried to attack Riddle. Ali and Ricochet both worked on Bronson Reed. Reed then tried to hang on before Ali drop-kicked Reed, and Reed and Ricochet both fell to the floor, with Ali taking the win in a match that started off very, very blah, but got a lot better towards the end. And Ali gets the shock victory. He will be facing Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at Night of Champions. Now, I had multiple thoughts on this. I had multiple feelings on this, and I think that everyone will see the same ground as I'm seeing right now. Ali is great. Ali is great, and I think Ali deserves a hell of a lot more than what he's been given. He deserves better. But this positivity gimmick that he has had, Positive Ali, it's stupid. It's a legit jobber gimmick. It's a jobber gimmick. Nobody takes him seriously. And he's only just started to gain wins 2 weeks ago. He's on a 3-match winning streak after being a jobber for how many fucking years, going up against a man who is the most dominant champion of the modern era outside of Roman Reigns. And you're telling me that we're supposed to believe he has a chance? He has no chance. Ali has absolutely zero chance whatsoever. Matter of fact, there's only one reason why Ali was given this opportunity. The only reason why Ali was given this opportunity is because they're going to Saudi Arabia and Mustafa Ali is Muslim. That's the only reason why Ali was given this opportunity. If anything, I would have given it to somebody like a Matt Riddle. But I can see that they're probably saving Matt Riddle for SummerSlam. That I understand. I understand that they're probably saving Gargano for a bigger stage, and I understand they're probably saving Bronson Reed for a bigger stage. Reportedly, WWE is looking to go to Melbourne, Australia for a special premium live event in September. And if that's the case, Bronson Reed versus Gunther would be the perfect match for the show, with Reed winning the championship. I understand that, but I mean, you're not going to get me to believe in Ali. No matter how great he is, and no matter how much of an advocate I am for Mustafa Ali, Ali's not winning. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Gunther just absolutely destroys Mustafa Ali. Wouldn't shock me at all. Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch came out to address the crowd. She hyped up Greensboro, and she admitted that she's been going through some stuff, and I couldn't do it alone. I asked for help from two legends. Trish came back to help herself and herself only, not me. I wanted to say thank you, Trish, because you turned on a light that had been off for many, many months. The only thing that matters is standing up for the people that depend on you. You were number one, but now I am. I made it, and I will be it until I say it is over. I will show you how thankful I am when I kick your head in at Night of Champions. I will say two positives about this, and then we're going to get into the negative. Number one, this was probably the best Becky Lynch promo that she has cut since she returned at SummerSlam 2 years ago. That's number one. Number two is someone obviously has been listening, and he saw the backlash from people complaining how they were going to stretch this shit out to SummerSlam, and they thought to themselves, you know what? Let's knock this out at Night of Champions. Let's knock it out at Night of Champions. Good. I still don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it was a decent promo, and they're doing it at Night of Champions, and hopefully we never have to hear from this ever again. Good. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to do with Becky, because Becky, I don't know what's going on with Becky, but Becky has not felt important in God knows how long. I'm glad that she's not in the championship title scene. I'm glad that she's not. But at the end of the day, she just feels so blah. She really does. I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems as though the only intriguing thing that would genuinely interest me with Becky would probably be Becky Lynch in a Raw Women's title program or a SmackDown Women's title program, because we got the SmackDown Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw. A SmackDown Women's title program with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch seems like the only intriguing thing that I would genuinely be interested in going into SummerSlam. Becky Lynch, I don't know what's going on with her. She just does not feel the same. She does not feel the same at all. Decent promo. I don't give a fuck about the match, and I'm probably going to end up saying that it was the worst match of the night at Night of Champions. The only saving grace is the fact that we could potentially see the crowd make the match better than it could be. Xavier Woods versus Dominic Mysterio. Once again, Vince. People are saying, oh yeah, Vince isn't in charge. Meanwhile, we're getting a fucking rematch between Xavier Woods and Dominic Mysterio. Crowd was chanting, "You suck" at Dominic Mysterio. Woods mentioned that he is alone and he does not have a group to back him up yet. Could that be the gateway to getting Big E and Kofi Kingston back on WWE television? Could we potentially see the New Day return to Raw, and the New Day are going to go one-on-one with the Judgment Day? I certainly would not mind that. Indus Sher, they took on a couple of jobbers. They just tossed them around. They won with a modified Demolition Devastation. I didn't mind this. I didn't really mind this because I think that if they put some effort into them, they could be something. But at the end of the day, how many projects from NXT have we seen Vince McMahon legitimately invest his time in? At the end of the day, people from NXT and people that Vince pushes are either pushed too much or they're not pushed enough. At the end of the day, WWE just does not know how to properly book talent. They either push him too much or they don't push him enough. There's never the healthy medium. There's never the healthy medium. Dominic Mysterio got the win by more nefarious means, and he rolled up Woods after Rhea Ripley blasted Woods in the back of the head. Dominic Mysterio continuing to win matches. I like it. And Indus Sher, they win their squash match. And if anything, I hope they keep Mahal as a manager. I really, really, really do hope that they end up keeping Mahal as a manager, because Mahal actually looked pretty decent out there, just standing there with his hands folded as a manager. Mahal as a manager is the way to go, because he sucks as a wrestler. Cody Rhodes came out to address the crowd. He says, Greensboro, what do you want to talk about? These grounds, I know. This was my home. This was the very first home of Starrcade. Lesnar elected to not be here. Lesnar sees a lion. But you should also see staples when you look in the mirror, Brock. When I look in the mirror, I see the man who put them there. Lesnar is better than 99.9% of those who step into this ring, but at Backlash, he was not better than me. This isn't about a championship. This is about who is the big thing on Monday Night Raw. He was always said to be the next big thing, but what happens when they just say next? You aren't the next big thing anymore. You are simply in my way. I don't care. And you know why I don't care? Zero explanation. Why should I care? I don't. Give Cody Rhodes the victory and have Cody Rhodes go after Roman at SummerSlam, because this shit is just, it is just legitimately fucking, it's tiresome. It's tiresome. It's lazy. It's boring. This shit is boring. End this. Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. Who gives a shit? Tahana Bomb for the win. Simple and quick. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler then attacked. Ronda then demanded that they defend the tag team titles, or they can continue to catch the same beating every week. Watch Ronda and Shayna win the tag team titles. Watch. Next week, we got Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus in a contract signing. We got Lesnar and Cody face-to-face. And we got Owens and Sami Zayn and a partner of their choosing versus Imperium. Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was a great match, but at the end of the day, this resulted in a loss for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Why? I don't know. Again, it seems like they've lost more matches in the last 2 months than they've won matches. And they're the tag team champions. Lost to the Judgment Day. Lost to the Bloodline. Lost to Solo in singles action did Kevin Owens. Lost to Jey Uso in singles action did Sami Zayn. Loss. That's all it is. Even with the interference of Imperium, it's still a loss. So it looks like the Judgment Day are going to be the program that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to be going forth with, going into Money in the Bank, perhaps. That's at least what I'm thinking. I'm not sure who else is going to be on the table for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn after Night of Champions, but I cannot see them losing the titles to Roman and Solo. That would be an awful decision. We got some decent wrestling here and there, but at the end of the day, just a blah episode of Raw. And again, just further validating what I've been saying. WWE is lazy. AEW Dynamite, however, that was not lazy whatsoever. AEW Dynamite was actually a very good show. They're actually on a hot streak right now. Dynamite had a lot of great material in it. We had a lot of progression with the storylines. We had some great wrestling. We got Double or Nothing being fleshed out. Wardlow He kicked off the show. Crowd chanted for Wardlow. He said, Christian made a lot of promises I want to see him follow through on. Come down here and spit in my face. Christian came out with Luchasaurus. Christian, he said that his time as champ is just about over and you don't have what it takes to win. Wardlow went after Christian and Luchasaurus. Christian ended up taking advantage with a low blow. Luchasaurus with a big boot. Luchasaurus then brought out a ladder, and Christian hit Wardlow with a kill switch on the ladder. Luchasaurus then chokeslammed Wardlow on the ladder, and Christian Cage held the TNT Championship up high in victory. And later on in the show, it was confirmed that we will see Wardlow versus Christian Cage at Double or Nothing in a ladder match for the TNT Championship. I like that. I like that a lot. And you know why I like that? There's a lot of storylines going into Double or Nothing. You got the BCC versus the Blackpool Combat Club. You got Outcast versus the AEW Originals. And Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm, they just got confirmed for the show. You got the Four Pillars Fatal 4-Way. You got Chris Jericho and Adam Cole. It's an unsanctioned match. With all of these storylines going into Double or Nothing, it got me a little concerned that Wardlow and Christian Cage were kind of going to be on the back burner. They were going to be looked at as an afterthought. But after they announced a ladder match, I'm thinking to myself, this is what they needed. This is going to be a great stipulation, and it leaves the floor open for more creativity between Wardlow and Christian Cage, and that is what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I like that. I like that. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. I always love some Big Bill on my television screen. Coming back from commercial, Cassidy was isolated. We had a tag to Darby, double coffin splash, corner avalanche, Big Bill with a beautiful boss man slam for a 2, tag to Lee, tag to Cassidy, Cassidy with a satellite DDT on Big Bill, Moriarty with a back-to-back suplex. And then we had a Motor City stretch, which is pretty much the Gargano escape. If you don't know what the Gargano escape is or the Motor City stretch, he takes the shoulder, puts it behind, and then stretches back. Cassidy then got out. We had a double superplex on Lee, double clothesline by Big Bill, standing Stundog Millionaire, and a code red on Big Bill, so nice double team action. Beach break by Cassidy on Lee Moriarty, and then a coffin drop on Lee by Darby. And we had a headlock takeover. Darby, after the coffin drop, won with a headlock takeover, a little shot at MJF. Fun little match, and I loved the ending right there with Darby Allin taking a shot at MJF. And if anything, if there's one guy that does have a lot of upside, if there's one guy to beat MJF in this Fatal 4-Way, I don't think MJF is losing, but Darby could be the guy. Darby could really be the guy. Blackpool Combat Club. Blackpool Combat Club, they attacked the Young Bucks in the parking lot. Obviously, this was all leading to what happened in the main segment of the show. Sammy Guevara, he took on a jobber known as Exodus Prime. Quick win with the GTH. Sammy was in Texas. He was in Texas. That was his home state. Sammy then took the mic and he said he remembers the old days when he wrestled on the indies, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have made a lot of mistakes, and all the mistakes have made me who I am. Sometimes it takes a few wrong turns to get to the right place. The right place is Double or Nothing, and my heart says at Double or Nothing, I will be the new AEW World Champion. I like the intensity, and I like that Sammy Guevara is getting a decent reactions. One thing is for sure, though, I would not really experiment with Sammy Guevara as a babyface yet. I think we're past those days. I think that Sammy Guevara really needs to stay as a heel right now. However, one thing I will say, and I really do hope that he's been doing it, if Sammy Guevara is indeed getting himself back on the right track and staying drama-free, then I genuinely believe that Sammy Guevara is going to have a very bright future. He just needs to stay the course, stay out of drama, continue doing what he's doing, and just keep to himself. Keep to himself and don't step out of his lane. Tony Schiavone brought in Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. Dutt had two guitars. He was holding two guitars with Dax and Cash's names both on them. Dax and Cash all of a sudden came out of nowhere, shoved Satnam Singh off of the ramp, and he just went crashing through two tables, which fucking exploded. He got shoved off the stage into fucking oblivion. That looked great. We got a big brawl between Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and FTR. Cash then bashed Jarrett with a chair. Lethal was sent over the timekeeper's table. FTR then set up Jarrett. They were going for the Shatter Machine before Karen Jarrett came out of nowhere, low-blowed Cash, and Jeff Jarrett hit the stroke on Dax. And then we had Satnam Singh coming out of nowhere. He rose from the ashes, double choke slam by Satnam Singh, and they took the guitars and they fucking unloaded on FTR. Guitars across the head. Guitars just fucking exploded. It looked great. And in the end, this ended up turning out to be a decent little fun segment. Pretty decent, pretty fun little segment. Really nothing over the top. Didn't really overstay its welcome. Matter of fact, this was probably the best that Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal look since they formed up as a duo. Not even bullshitting you. Probably the best that they've looked since they formed up as a duo. And if anything, this was probably the best program that they've been in since they came to AEW together. So you know what? 2 weeks in a row, we had a couple of decent segments. I didn't mind it. And with Mark Briscoe as the special guest referee, we could end up having a decent little match at Double or Nothing. Who knows? Tony Storm and Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. So the Outcasts came in hot right out of the gate. Coming back from commercial, Shida got the tag. Shida and Soho mixed it up a bit. Shida won the exchange, obviously. Shida then, with a big crossbody onto Saraya and Tony Storm on the outside. We had a knee strike by Shida for a 2. Falcon Arrow connects. Ruby Soho kicked out. Tagged to Baker. Butterfly suplex and a Meteora. Storm saved it. We had a DDT neckbreaker combo. Baker went for the lockjaw. Soho countered. No future connects. Tag to Storm. Baker with an air raid crash and a stomp. Saraya got involved. Storm was the legal competitor. She sprayed spray paint into Baker's eyes. Storm Zero connects, and the Outcasts get the win. Very good match. That's the first positive. Second positive, I will say, and I need to give my props to Britt Baker. Britt Baker, she was on the route to being the Charlotte Flair of AEW. She really was. But Britt Baker saw it, and she realized what was going on, and Britt Baker went in, and she has made it her mission to help get others over. She's put Jamie Hayter front and center. She's been putting over Saraya. She put over Tony Storm. She put over Ruby Soho. Britt Baker has been making everyone look great. She's been making everyone look great, and I greatly appreciate that. That is what I like to see. That is exactly what I want to see out of Britt Baker. And the third positive I'm going to say, we got ourselves Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm, part number 3. And this is what I love about AEW. AEW does not overexpend matches. You take a look at what happened with WWE. They had Dominic Mysterio and Xavier Woods fight 2 weeks in a row. Meanwhile, you take a look at Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. This is the third match that they have had in the last year. The third match that they've had in the last year. Their first match was last year, this month, during the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Then they had one at Full Gear. And then we got ourselves this match right here. I love the fact that they spread matches out. I love the fact that they take their time and they make each match feel special. And we got ourselves the rubber match between Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. And these women are going to kill it. These women are going to kill it. Tony Khan announced Saturday Night Collision will premiere at 8 p.m. on June 17th, and they'll be announcing the city next week, which I'm assuming will be Chicago, Illinois. Chris Jericho versus Roderick Strong. This was a Falls Count Anywhere match, and this was very, 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 very chaotic. It was everywhere. It was fun as shit. Lots of good stuff between these two, and they got very creative. In the back, they got outside. They brawled into the stairwell and the fucking ice cream stand. Very entertaining shit. Very entertaining shit here between Roderick Strong and Chris Jericho. So they started out hot. Strong came in with some nasty chops. Strong may have chops that could rival Walter or Gunther. So Jericho with the walls. Coming back from commercial, the fight spilled into the crowd. Jericho then dropped Roderick Strong on the railing right in the concessions area. Jericho was then in the concessions area. He suplexed Roddy through a table. That got a 2. We had a back suplex onto a food stand, which looked great. They brawled into a stair ledge on a wall. I actually thought one of them was going over the railing. That was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. Strong then shoved ice cream in Jericho's face, and they brawled outside. They were outside of the arena, and they were in a little dirt area, like a dirt area with plants. All of a sudden, Chris Jericho was standing tall. Adam Cole came up from behind him, attacked Jericho, hit him with the boom in the plant area, jumping knee by Strong, and Strong gets the win. Jericho puts over Roderick Strong in a crazy match. Not over the top, but it was a crazy match nonetheless. Brawls everywhere, and Roderick Strong gets the biggest victory of their career. Props to Jericho. Props to Jericho for putting Roderick Strong over, and if anything, I would not mind seeing Roderick Strong in the potential TNT or International Championship title picture sooner rather than later. I would love that. But man, Roderick Strong, he got the big win. I'm happy for him, and it was a very nice use of the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation because Adam Cole was banned from the arena. He was outside the arena. So, Adam Cole outsmarted Chris Jericho. Brilliant. Brilliant. Jungle Boy versus Roosh. This was a very good match right here. We had Roosh in control, coming back from commercial. Roosh hit a jumping knee. Perry came back with a drop kick. Perry then locked in the snare trap. Roosh was able to get out. Both men were on the apron. Roosh with a belly-to-belly suplex off the apron to the floor. That looked nasty. Roosh then shoved the ref, and Jungle Boy rolled up Roosh with the tights to get the win. Afterwards, we had a big attack by Roosh and Preston Vance. Could only imagine that was by MJF. All of a sudden, Darby then came out to save Jungle Boy as well as Sammy Guevara. And we got a 3-way face-off where Sammy, he was talking to Darby in the back, pretty much saying that we need to get the world championship off of that prick. So MJF is not happy because apparently MJF is thinking, motherfucker, these guys are all going to work together to take me out, and then I could lose without even being pinned. I thought that little visual right there with MJF, and he slapped the microphone out of Renee's hand, that was brilliant. His facial expression told the whole story. These motherfuckers are going to work to take me out. It's brilliant. I'll tell you what else was brilliant. Ricky Starks and Jay White. These two these two put on an awesome match, and I did not mind that it ended in a DQ because now this sets up another match down the line. Could they put it on Double or Nothing? You know what? I don't know. They could, but in the end, I would kind of hold off on that a bit. You don't want to really overload the show. And I would give Ricky Starks and Jay White a little bit more room to breathe. If anything, I would put them on the debut episode of Collision. I think that would be great. So this was awesome stuff. And Ricky Starks ended up getting himself DQ'd after hitting Jay White with the chair. But in the end, Ricky Starks still stands tall, and Jay White took the victory. Tony Schiavone, he interviewed Don Callis. We didn't really get much of an explanation. That was probably the biggest problem that I had with Dynamite. We did not really get too much of an explanation from Don Callis, but Tony Schiavone asked why. The crowd then rained down boos on Don Callis. Callis said, "I'll talk about what Kenny did to me. The real victim is Don Callis. After everything that I did for him, without me, there is no Kenny Omega." Kenny Omega then came out. Security was trying to hold him back before the Blackpool Combat Club attacked Omega. Moxley then said that their friends can't touch them. Stay down. We are the Elite. Young Bucks came out and they brought out weapons. They were standing side by side with Omega. All of a sudden, you hear that fabled music. Ghost Town, I believe it is. And Adam Hangman Page came out to a humongous fucking pop. And we get ourselves a big brawl with Hangman Page saying, "We are the heart, we are the soul, the spirit, we are the Elite." And at Double or Nothing, BCC and the Elite, Anarchy in the arena. And it is going to be a fucking war. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be great. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that the Blackpool Combat Club are going to come victorious. I'm going to say it. I'm going with the Blackpool Combat Club here. Why? Because then that sets up Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is going to result in the Elite getting their win. And I don't see the Elite staying together in the trios division or staying together as a quartet for very long. If anything, I see Omega getting the shot at MJF at Wembley. I see the Young Bucks fighting FTR. I see Page. If you're going to give me a big match with Hangman Adam Page, give me Will Ospreay. That'd be great. And then I can absolutely see the Blackpool Combat Club as potential challengers for the House of Black. You know that they're going to do something with the House of Black. They gotta. They absolutely fucking gotta. But Dynamite, great show. Once again, a great show. Dynamite is gaining a lot of good traction, and I'm very happy to see that they got themselves back on track, and Double or Nothing's looking great. We got BCC in the Elite, Anarchy in the arena, 4 Pillars, Fatal 4-Way for the world title, ladder match between Christian and Wardlow for the TNT title, unsanctioned match between Jericho and Adam Cole. We got Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter in a women's championship match. They recently just announced Taya Valkyrie and Jade Cargill, and I hope that that is when Taya Valkyrie will finally take down Jade. We also got ourselves a blackjack battle royale to see who's going to win the international championship, We got the tag team title match. We're probably going to get a match between Swerve and Lee. We're probably going to get a match between Ricky Starks and Jay White. Double or Nothing's looking stacked. I'll tell you what was not stacked, at least what wasn't really all that exciting. SmackDown, not all that exciting whatsoever outside of what's going on with the Bloodline, and they're just really throwing matches together at Night of Champions. There's no real rhyme or reason. Very, very lackluster, and I can't really tell you that I care. I really can't really tell you that I care. But we had Roman Reigns kicking off the show. He kicked off the show with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. The Usos were not out there. He said, Columbia, South Carolina, acknowledge me. So after he said that, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn made their way out. Crowd was chanting for Sami. Crowd was loud for Sami at that. We then had, where is it? We then had Roman Reigns say, this is perfect. This was my plan all along. This was my plan all along for you to be out here. They've already acknowledged me. Now it's your turn to acknowledge your tribal chief. Then you can drop your titles and see yourself out. Owens got in Roman and Solo's face. Roman then said, don't worry, I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to you. So Roman Reigns got in, he got in Sammy's face. Sami then said, you know, I've been wanting to speak to you too. Roman said, I've had a special career, highest of highs and the lowest of lows, but my one regret is wasting my life on you. Sami Zayn said, I have one regret too. I regret not blasting you with that chair sooner. I thought I'd never get this opportunity again. Your greed has gotten the best of you. Everyone told you you were the best, and now you want these titles? You are not going to get them. You know why? Because you're just not as good as us. Hell, you're not even as good as the Usos either. So Sami Zayn bringing in the heavy artillery. Roman wasn't happy. Jay and Jimmy then attacked Zayn and Owens, laid them out. Reigns did not look happy. He looked pissed. He started scolding the Usos, saying, I had something to say. You weren't supposed to come out here. And then all of a sudden, as he was turning around, he bumped shoulders with Solo Sikoa. He bumped shoulders with Solo Sikoa. I am not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means at all. But let me tell you something. That right there is very, 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 very intriguing. That right there is something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on, because if anything, that could very well be a deciding factor of what exactly is going to happen at Night of Champions. Because as of right now, Solo is still in the good graces of Roman Reigns. The Usos are in the doghouse. Are the Usos going to cost Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa? Or is Solo going to lose clean, and is Solo going to be put in the doghouse with his brothers, the Usos? I don't know. That's definitely something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on, but it is certainly intriguing to say the least. It is certainly intriguing to say the least. We got a lot of tag team matches on this show. Pretty deadly. They took on the Brawling Brutes, and this was not bad at all. And I'd say that they gave Pretty Deadly the right team to face off in their debut. Pretty Deadly actually got the win here. One thing I very much appreciated, and I'm going to say this, they did not overexpose the Pretty Deadly gimmick. The one thing that I fucking hated in NXT, when Pretty Deadly were in NXT, they just constantly forced and just over-accentuated the Pretty Deadly gimmick to a point where it was just flat out nauseating. They were not like that in NXT UK. Matter of fact, I even said it myself, they were probably the best NXT UK Tag Team Champions that I have personally seen. I thought that they were great. I thought that they were awesome. But then they get to NXT and this gimmick is just forced in everyone's face to a point where it's become so cringe. Here they didn't do that. All they did was cut like a 45-second soundbite where they were talking about how they were the most charismatic, the most fashionable, and the the best tag team in SmackDown, the tastiest snacks on SmackDown. It was 45 seconds. It was short. It was sweetest. It was to the point. The gimmick was still there. But they didn't over-accentuate on it. And then we had this match with the Brawling Brutes, and they actually went in there and wrestled. It wasn't comedy hour. They went in there and they wrestled. And I can appreciate that. So we had a tag to Butch. He lit up pretty deadly with some enziguris and some knee drops, an X-Plex for a 2. Ridge had both men on his shoulders. We had a backdrop slam to both Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. We had the 10 beats of the Baldwin. All of a sudden, Butch was taken off of the top, and they ended up hitting Spilt Milk on Ridge Holland to get the win. 1, 2, 3. Pretty deadly win. It was a fun match. It wasn't terrible. And pretty deadly. They were not over-accentuated, so I can't really complain about that. I hope that we get more of that. I hope that we get more wrestling and less gimmick when it comes to Pretty Deadly. Asuka and Zelina Vega. I will give Zelina Vega some credit. Zelina Vega has gotten a lot better, and I hope that Zelina Vega continues to evolve. Asuka ended up getting the win here. Zelina had a decent flurry of offense with a 619 and a meteor from the middle rope. Asuka then caught Zelina in the Asuka lock. Vega got out, but then Asuka locked in a double Fujiwara armbar, and Vega submitted. After the match, Bianca ran down to help Vega. Asuka tried for the mist again, and Bianca just got out of the way of it barely. I'm going to tell you this right now. Unless Asuka wins, I don't give a fuck. I don't. The only way that Asuka losing would make sense is if they plan on doing a unification match with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair at SummerSlam for both women's championships. That would be the only way that this would genuinely make sense. Other than that, I do not give a fuck. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Grayson Waller effect. With Grayson Waller. This really wasn't anything crazy. Was not anything crazy here. And it didn't really do much of anything other than set up a potential match and a feud between Grayson Waller and AJ Styles after Night of Champions. And it looks like that is going to be the match going forward for Grayson Waller. And he's going to really establish himself when he's fighting AJ Styles. I think that that's going to be great. Now, I'm not sure where AJ Styles is going to genuinely fit in, but I think that after this feud with Grayson Waller, if you're going to put AJ Styles in a high-profile matchup going into SummerSlam, I would not mind seeing AJ Styles and Logan Paul. I wouldn't mind whatsoever seeing AJ Styles and Logan Paul. I think that would be a phenomenal match. That'd be awesome. But Grayson Waller effect. He introduced AJ Styles, and Grayson, he was keeping it professional, actually. It was very unlike Grayson Waller. He was keeping it professional. He was keeping it low-key. He was just talking about their time in NXT. He called Styles a bona fide Hall of Famer. Styles said, my injury was the longest time that I've ever been out of a professional wrestling ring, and I wanted to get back in it. I trained so hard, you've never seen someone train as hard as me. Grayson said he believes it. He says, now I have the opportunity to be the world heavyweight champion. Now, Seth Rollins is on a movie set somewhere, and I'm happy for him, but he better be ready, because I can assure you I am. Grayson says he's looking forward to that match, especially the ending, when Mike Rome says, and new world heavyweight champion Seth freaking Rollins. And that was pretty much it. Really nothing over the top. Obviously, Grayson Waller was going to get a little jab in on AJ Styles. There had to be at least one little verbal jab in by Grayson Waller, because that's what Grayson Waller is all about. He's all about giving verbal jabs. But after that, it was a pretty basic segment, really nothing too crazy at all. We then had a we had a match between the Street Profits versus LA Knight and Rick Boogs, which really didn't last very long at all. This lasted about 5 minutes. And Boogs and LA Knight, they were doing what they normally do. They were going on and on about how Boogs is booging out. LA Knight was trying to get Boogs to focus up. Street Profits ended up winning this. And then afterwards, LA Knight hit a BFT on Boogs. I really, really hope that this is resulting in LA Knight going solo, and I really hope that they nix the plans for an LA Knight tag team, because if anything, LA Knight, he is your perfect, I'm telling you, it's right in front of your face. LA Knight is the perfect fucking candidate. LA Knight is the perfect fucking candidate to take the championship off of Austin Theory. You have Austin Theory, a dominant heel champion. The crowd, they want to cheer LA Knight. They want to cheer LA Knight. So at the end of the day, why not give them a reason to cheer LA Knight? You can still have him go babyface, because at the end of the day, he was a babyface in NXT, and he was great. And he was great. All you got to do, all you have to do is plain and simple. Plain and simple. Just put him in the singles division, turn him babyface, let him be himself, and he will get over. He's going to get over. That's all we need. That's all we need. It is becoming very, very difficult to watch WWE television and see LA Knight just constantly rack up losses. It really is. It's frustrating. It's fucking frustrating. Karrion Kross, he cut a promo. He cut a promo backstage, and it looks like he is going to be in a program with AJ Styles, or at least for one match, because we got Styles and Kross going down next week on SmackDown. So we got ourselves a match between Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Yulisa Leon and Valentina Feroz. Very, very quick match. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn win. NXT Tag Team Champs win in quick fashion. Completely worthless, a waste of time. Again, I will ask, why exactly are we still in a scenario where we are just neglecting the women's tag team titles instead of unifying them? And hell, how about get rid of them and build a competitive singles women's division? Ridiculous. And then on top of that, they broke the fucking draft rules. We got a SmackDown tag team fighting on Raw on Monday in 2 weeks. Austin Theory came out to address the crowd. He talked about him and Sheamus, saying that, hey, we both beat John Cena. And then all of a sudden, Sheamus came out, gave a bro kick to Austin Theory, and it was booked for next week, Austin Theory versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. And guess what? Theory's not losing. It makes no sense that this match is even being booked to begin with, because Sheamus has done nothing to earn a United States title opportunity. But this is just another successful title defense for Austin Theory, because Theory right now is not losing that championship anytime soon. SummerSlam would be the date. That was the majority of SmackDown, and then we got to the main event. Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, the Latino World Order versus the Usos. That was pretty much that. And it was a great match. Really nothing more of substance other than the fact that they are continuously building tension between the Usos and the Bloodline, because the Usos lost this match, albeit it was because of Owens and Zayn, but the Usos still lost the match. So Roman Reigns, obviously, he ain't going to be happy. He ain't going to be happy whatsoever. And that was that. Outside of the bloodline, just blah, blah. No one cares. Just a very, very lame period that we are in right now. I am very, 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 very just tired of the same shit. Very, very tired of the same shit. And I'm just really, really, really ready to move on to something new. I want something new. That's what we're craving from WWE. They're doing the same shit over and over again without anything new. And we're sick of it. People are sick of it. AEW Rampage, last show, and then we're going to get on out of here. Rampage was not a bad show. Rampage was not a bad show whatsoever. We did get some decent wrestling on the show. We did get some storyline advancement on the show. We did get some matches booked for Double or Nothing as well. The show started off with the Best Friends and Bandito versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Trent and Yuta, they mixed it up for a little bit. Obviously, they got some history there. Trent then with a barrage of suplexes on Moxley. Double topes and a moonsault by the Best Amigos. Claudio came back with an uppercut to Trent. Coming back from commercial, the BCC was in control. Beretta with a very nice tornado DDT on Moxley. Tagged the Bandito. Corkscrew crossbody on Claudio. Hurricane Rana pin. Best Amigos with a soul food half and half combination. Then we got a spike pile driver on Yuta for a 2. We had a super kick by Bandito to Moxley. Knee strike by Trent. Lariat by Claudio. In the ring, Chuck Taylor caught with a paradigm shift. And then Claudio and Wheeler Yuta hit the rocket launcher on the Blackpool Combat Club for the win. 1, 2, 3. We got a fun little match there. Really nothing over the top, but it was fun. And the Blackpool Combat Club continue to look strong. Obviously, this is building towards the inevitable match between the Blackpool Combat Club and the House of Black, which I do believe will be taking place in the fall. And I genuinely hope that Tony Khan books that match, gives it the proper time to build, because that match, it is new, it is fresh, and above all else, it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable, and that's what I love about it. It's great. So we got a fun little trios match to kick off the show. Jade Cargill, she took on Danny B. Jade Cargill wins with ease. She then was taunting with her muscles and all that, a lot of flexing. Mark Sterling then said, no. You see, if that's the best Texas had to offer, that ain't enough. We got more talent in the back. So another woman came out. Her name was Genesis. Genesis was taken out with a spear and then a jaded by Jade Cargill to win. Sterling then brought out another one, but all of a sudden Taya Valkyrie came out. She blasted the jobber with a forearm, went into the ring. Taya then went after Jade, hit the road to Valhalla on Jade, and Taya took the mic and said, "Now who's that bitch? I'll see you at Double or Nothing." And I genuinely hope they give Taya the championship. Unless Chris Statlander is ready to come back, I genuinely fucking hope that they give Taya Valkyrie the championship, because I'm really fucking sick and tired of this shit. I'm really sick and tired of it. It's time that Jade loses the championship. It's time that she loses her undefeated streak. There's nowhere left for her to go. It is time to move on. Get that championship on Taya Valkyrie and let Taya Valkyrie do what she does, because she is a great professional wrestler in her own right. And her and Jade, they actually put on a fairly decent match not that long ago. They matched up pretty well together. And I think that they could do it again. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do. The Acclaimed took on Daddy Ass and the Varsity Blondes. So Daddy Ass, he was very over in this match. Max Caster was isolated by Daivari. Coming back from commercial, we had a tag to Bowens. Famous are on Nice. Woods was able to save it. Daddy Ass took out Woods. Nice with a spin kick. Swift combo by Bowens. Tag to Caster. A rival and a mic drop, and they win. It looks like the House of Black will be in their future, as they will be fighting the House of Black at Double or Nothing. And House of Black will be winning. Tony Schiavone he interviewed. Tony Schiavone interviewed the Hardys and Brother Zay. They confirmed that it's going to be the Hardys and Brother Zay versus Ethan Page and the Guns at Double or Nothing. That is a pre-show match, if I've ever seen it, and it better be on the pre-show. Jeff Hardy promised that they will become the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Ethan Page then come out. He said that he asked the Guns for help not to make a match or put my contract on the line. Jeff, I barely know you, and I don't want to know you anymore. I am not liking you after that swanton I took. Matt, we are done. Page then tried to sweeten up to Brother Zay. Page tried to shake Brother Zay's hand and give him a hug, but it was all a ploy because the Guns came out with steel chairs. Page then stomped a chair into Isaiah Cassidy's neck, and obviously that is all building towards the six-man tag, and if Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy win, then Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy, they will be in control of Ethan Page's contract. Brother Zay and the Hardys will own Ethan Page, and that will be that. Can't really say I care too much about this angle. Listen, I love the Hardys. I love the Guns. I love Ethan Page, but at the end of the day, it's just a very, very blah storyline. It's not really all that exciting. Should be a decent little match, though, but it really doesn't need to be on pay-per-view. We then had ourselves Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, he took on the role of a commentator, and he addressed Adam Cole. Adam Cole came up on the screen. He said, he'll make Jericho's life a living hell week after week, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Jericho said, well, guess what? I just lifted the ban. This building ban for you is no more, and I want you at Double or Nothing in an unsanctioned match. Cole then said, that's exactly what I wanted. Cole then came into the building. He went through the crowd. Security tried to break him up, and Cole ended up standing tall as Jericho was dragged away. And I'm very much looking forward to Adam Cole and Chris Jericho in that unsanctioned match. Chris Jericho, he is amazing at what he does. He's always putting other people over. And Adam Cole, I'd say that this is a great first feud back for Adam Cole. And with Adam Cole beating Jericho, that's really going to build him up very, very nicely to be a potential contender for MJF and the World Championship. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, what does Adam Cole do? What does Adam Cole do at Wembley going into the fall? I don't know. I mean, that is a very, very interesting scenario. You could go either way with Adam Cole. There are multiple ways that you can go with Adam Cole, actually. But if you're asking me, I would love to see Adam Cole versus Bryan Danielson. That would be a great match to continue Adam Cole's momentum. That would be a big-time matchup. That would be a potential match of the year candidate between those two. I would love to see Adam Cole versus Bryan Danielson. And then you can have Moxley, Claudio, and Yuta go after the Trios Championships against the House of Black. Big shows coming in for AEW All In Wembley. It's not a pay-per-view, but you may as well book it like one. In our main event, we had Bishop Kaun versus Dustin Rhodes. This was a pretty decent match for what it was. Dustin Rhodes, he was actually busted open because he ran headfirst into a camera, and Dustin tried to mount the comeback with a couple of clotheslines. Nice power slam. Rhodes with a nice-looking code red for a 2. Pile driver connects. Shotgun dropkick bulldog by Dustin Rhodes, and the final reckoning. Afterwards, the Mogul Embassy came out. Keith Lee came out. He took out Brian Cage and Khan. He stared face-to-face with Swerve before Brian Cage came up from behind Keith Lee. And Brian Cage, he got him up. He got Keith Lee up on his shoulders and dropped him with an F5. He then put Keith Lee on the chair, and Swerve glided from the top with a swerve stomp on Keith Lee while Keith Lee was sitting in the chair right on the money. And it looks like we got ourselves a match coming to us at AEW Double or Nothing. And in the end, I think that Swerve is going to end up getting the victory, because Swerve, if anything, is a high priority investment. And I would absolutely put forth Swerve as a potential challenger for Mr. Wardlow, because Wardlow should absolutely retain the championship over Mr. Christian Cage. And that was Rampage. Nothing too over the top. Nothing too over the top at all whatsoever. However, I will say that this was a nice flowing episode of Rampage. We did get some storyline progression. We did get some extra build. And we got some more storylines and matches being fleshed out and confirmed for Double or Nothing. Should be a fun show. Should be a very, very fun show, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have been great. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Thank you very much to Sarah Hapkin. Thank you very much to Paul the Shooter. Thank you very much to Danielle Wolf, Dee Dee, Lisa, and thank you very much to Adam Carl. Thank you very much to Hula Grim. Thank you very much to Earl Cole. Thank you very much to Total Tom. You guys are fantastic, and you guys make being DJ Storms the most fun job on the planet. You guys are awesome. Please make sure that you check out all the social media links and check out all the extra links in the description regarding the Facebook group, my email, and of course, one last shout out to Brittany K. Brittany K, good sponsor of the channel. I almost forgot. Good sponsor of the channel. Very good friend of mine. She is amazing, and she does great designs crafted from scratch on an iPad. She does great designs of Malachi Black and Bray Wyatt and the Blackpool Combat Club and Karrion Kross. Great stuff right there. So please go and check her out. Twitter is at BrittanyK5150. Instagram is at BrittanyKDesigns. Both of those links are in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Be ready for the next couple weeks. We got a lot of guests, a lot of streams, a lot of good material. Please be ready, because you are not going to want to miss a single moment when it comes to DJ Storms. Been rocking and rolling all month. Been one of the most successful months of the DJ Storms brand. But until next time, I'm DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, you got to tell me, baby, who runs the IWC? Who runs it? Who runs it? Tell me. You got to tell me who runs the IWC. I want to hear at least some people say it. Who runs the IWC, or else I'm going to have to say it for you. Let me take a sip of my ice water, and then you can answer my question. Grega John answering the question very, very simply. You already know who runs the IWC. Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And I will catch you guys on Tuesday with Jay Leto for the rundown for Battleground and Night of Champions.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.